Okay, YouTube, this cover has been soaking for about 2 hours, and I want to check it out and see what the deal is. So let's remove the piece of glass. And what I do is we're going to take out the grate, slowly let the water drip down. And if you check out that water, it is definitely plenty dirty. So what we want to do is we want to remove the top grate, and I'll rest it on the actual top of the tub. So here you go. The cover looks definitely cleaner. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to, as you can see, the tape started to lift up on its own. So that's a good sign. So what I want to do is I am going to use Bestine as well as the soaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to dip it in the Bestine periodically. And then we're slowly going to rub the Bestine onto the tape. Just like that, to loosen up the adhesive, because I want to try to do it without taking away the cover. So as you can see, the tape is definitely coming off of the cover, and it's coming off with minimum paper loss on the front of the cover. So I'll do this and I'll take my time and slowly lift the tape. Now you have to be patient with this. You can't muscle it, you can't do it aggressively, or else you'll rip the book. So it's working quite well. It's actually working better than I anticipated, and I am happy with the results so far. I am going to soak this cover more. I'm not going to try to remove the tape all at once, because that's how you will rip the book. So it is a very slow process. I have learned from doing this in the past that if you are too aggressive, you will damage the book. So this is the main gist. This is how I do it. And what I'm going to do now is I think that is enough for this application. So what I'll do is I am going to put some more Bestine on the areas where the tape is, and I'll let that penetrate for a little bit, because remember, the Bestine will not go through the tape itself. You have to slowly get it underneath and let the paper absorb it in order for it to work. But this is definitely a slow process, as I indicated. And what I'm going to do now, after doing this periodically, is I'm going to put the book back into the bath, let it soak, and we'll do this process probably 10, 15 times until the actual tape is lifted off. Now, another thing that I want to mention is, in the past, I believe I did tape removal with a Batman Golden Age comic, and it did stain the book. So I think then the bath is definitely a positive way to do it, is because if there's any staining that happens, the water will eliminate the chemical stain. So there you go, YouTube. Stay tuned. I'm gonna let this soak a little bit more and we'll work on it. And we'll see if we can get all the tape off. Excuse my oil burner. Stay tuned for next removal in a little bit. Thank you. Okay, YouTube, just a little update. I was able to take the tape off, and I'm sorry I didn't do it on camera. Here is the tape with minimum cover loss. So this method definitely worked. It came off pretty easy. But one thing that I want to point out is, like I said in the last video, I did use Bastine in addition to the hot water and detergent to loosen up the actual adhesive on the tape. So this whole strip of tape was removed successfully. And you can see here, if you want to look at this Donald Duck, none of the color really came off. So I'm very happy with this process. This discolorization that you see here, that's the adhesive residue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on removing that by dipping my brush in the Bastine and then slowly rubbing it on the actual cover where the adhesive was. And then eventually it will loosen up, and if everything goes well, I can get it off as best as possible. So I'm going to do this process just like I'm doing now, not too aggressive. And then what we'll do is we'll put it back in the bath and let it soak. And hopefully the adhesive will just not evaporate, it will just float off in the solution. So it's a slow, tedious process, but it's definitely working. Because as you can see here, this is the tape that was removed. So it's a significant amount of tape. It's old, it's yellowed, but if you look, there really isn't much color loss that came off, so we did a good job. One thing that I didn't show in the first installment of this video was I actually put parchment paper between the cover and the first wrap. So as soon as I put it in the water, I said, you know what, let me put the parchment paper in so the two pages don't stick together. And as you can see now, they are easily removable from one another. And the same with the cover. It doesn't stick to the parchment. That rip was there. I didn't just do that. So there you go. Stay tuned. We'll let this soak a little more. And I'll put a little more Bastine on to try to remove the adhesive. And then the next step in this process is I'm going to try to remove the actual tape on the interior of the cover. Another important feature is I'm going to change the water now in my bath, and I'm going to put new hot water with the solution. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. And that's really a lot of the dirt that accumulated on the cover for quite some time. So stay tuned for the next installment, and I'll keep it on this video. Thank you, and stay tuned. Okay, we're going to try now to remove the tape on the interior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of parchment here, and I'm going to try to flip this over delicately and so I can work on it. I know the spine is split, but we're gonna do our best. So here you go. Here is the piece of tape holding the cover onto the first wrap. So what I want to do is let's put some Bestine on it, and hopefully it will penetrate and I'll be able to at least get it going where I can start use my tweezer and slowly peel the tape away. So here you go. So right now you see this tape is slowly coming undone. And I'll slowly peel it away one little piece at a time. I will continue with my Bestine so I can get it removed from the cover. And my goal is to try to remove the tape from the cover first, and then I'll work on removing the tape off of the first wrap because it is more delicate. So as you can see, it is slowly peeling off. And hopefully we can remove it without jeopardizing the integrity of the cover. Okay, let's try to move this a little open. There you go. There's the full piece. Let's start. Maybe we can get the bottom going. Oh, there you go. All you want to do is get a little piece to start. Look at that. Look how it's peeling off. And if I can remove the cover off of the first wrap, I'm ahead of the game. And then I can work on each of the pages or the cover in the first wrap individually. So it definitely is working. And I hope you're enjoying this and you didn't fall asleep yet. I find this interesting. I know it's not modern comics or now I see on YouTube, you have that bunny mask comic on the cover with the person wearing a bunny mask. I have no idea what that is. Then I see more comics with like dogs, lost dogs or stray dogs, whatever that comic is. The stray dogs that look like, there's one cover that looks like Friday the 13th. I don't know, maybe I'm out of touch. I'm not that old. I was born in 73, so it's not like I'm an old person, but the lost dogs or magic dogs and then the bunny wearing mask, it's just something I don't know about. I do know about removing tape from old comics, and a lot of this is trial and error. I have to be candid, I did mess up a lot of books. I wouldn't say mess up, but I didn't do the job I wanted to do as much as I could, or my goals. Okay, look, there you go. So the piece is removed, and I did not tear any of the cover doing it. Look at this. Look at this big chunk that just came off. Look at that. No issue. Didn't take any of the first wrap off. And as we know, the interior paper is a lot weaker than the cover itself. So that was definitely a good chunk that came off. You just have to be patient and it will work, hopefully. So there you go. Look, here's the other piece. It's coming off. So I think based on what is happening now, my two-step process with soaking the cover and using the chemical Bestine is the way to go. Look at this. Look at this. Huh? Pretty good. There's your tape. So I successfully removed the tape off of the one side of the cover dealing with the first wrap. We do know that there is a split spine, because why else would someone put tape on it? Could have been a little kid, could have been an adult who likes comics. So let's see if we can do the same for the piece of tape that's on this side. There it is. Let's go for it. And again, I hope you're enjoying this. I understand it could be maybe a little boring. So if it is, I apologize. But some people don't like the time. They do like the time lapse, but they would rather see the whole process. And I'm trying to do that now. Look at this. I'm very excited because look how this piece is coming right off. I'm getting overzealous, and I don't want to do that because I'm rushing right now with my excitement. It's like I just learned that my local comic shop just got a few of the bunny ear or bunny mask comics, and I want to go get it. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Let's see, it's coming off without any paper loss, so it's working very well. There you go. There you go. I just hope one day I can find a Sweetie Pie or whatever the fuck that is, Sweetie whatever Fawcett book, and I can do this off of one of them. Check out Night Tiger's channel because I actually sent him that book that I use for the leaf casting. So he'll be getting that soon. And then also check out Kenny Capps, his station, because he's going to get the Wonder Woman book back soon as well. So there you go, YouTube. Look at that. I was able to successfully take the tape off. Very minimum cover loss. So I am very proud with this system that I'm using. So what we're going to do now is let's take the cover, let's flip it over, and really what I can do is I can probably take this cover off right now because it's no longer connected to the first wrap. There you go. Look at this. Ready? Look at that. So I'm very happy with the job that I did. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to soak this overnight just to give it an extra clean, and we'll see if some of the residue will come off with the soak. Before I do that, I just want to put a liberal amount of Bestine onto the adhesive that's on the cover. So maybe we'll loosen up in the process the actual adhesive. But then what I'll do is, after letting it soak overnight, I will separate the video. I'll separate the cover and the first wrap, and then we're going to work on each one of them individually. So I think this is going to be chapter 2 or part 2 of my series in this removal of the tape and cover cleaning. I think it went long enough, and then we'll have a third series with me working on each page, and then perhaps we will have a fourth series in relation to the before and after pics. So I hope you enjoyed this. If I had to grade it between 1 and 10 with the success of the tape removal, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 because I think this was a great procedure and I would do this in the future, day in and day out. So take care, YouTube. If you like my videos, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do.